Today we are going to have our quick recapitulation of the chapter voice change. So what is the voice change? It's about how are we going to change the mode of the speakers. That means there are two types of voices, active voice and passive voices. We are going to interchange those. That means we are going to change from active voice to passive voice and vice versa. What are these active voices and passive voices, and how are we going to do this? Let's see. What is an active and passive voice? So there are two sets of voices. That is an active one. It means what subject does, and the passive one that focuses on the action of that particular subject. So clearly we can mention that whenever a noun or a pronoun is doing something, then if we are going to completely emphasize on the activity of that subject, then it is going to be the active voice. And whenever we are going to completely focus on the action of the doer, then it is going to be the passive one. So clearly speaking, active one always emphasizes on the subjects doing something, and passive voice explains or emphasizes on the action of the doer. Like Ram killed Ravan. Here the main verb killed is being done by Ram, and that is the most important thing, that what Ram did. Ram killed Ravana. But in the case of passive voice, Ravana was killed by Ram. The action, that means Ravana, who was killed by the person or the noun Ram, is being the primary focus. That means the action is being focused. The action killing of Ravana, that is being important over here. And what are we doing and how are we doing? We are going to see it in the next one, that the subject Ram in the active voice is going to be the object in the passive voice, and the object Ravana of the active sentence is going to be the passive one, subject one in the passive sentence. And what are we going to do? The main verb, the first form of the main verb killed, which is being used in the active voice, is going to be transformed into the third form of the verb, that is was killed, in the passive sentence. So we are going to change the verb according to the subject. Active. Another example, I write a poem. A poem is written by me. Whatever the transformations are, you can clearly check the arrows over here. The subject I, here it is a pronoun, that has been transformed to the passive one, and the format that we are using is me. Why me? Why are we using this? We are going to describe it in the next one, though we know the case formats of it, the nominatives and the accusatives. We are going to discuss further about it. So what are we going to do? We are just clearly going to focus on the subject pattern, the structure pattern of this one. That is, the subject of the active one is clearly being distinguished as the object of the passive sentence, and the object of the active sentence is clearly being distinguished as the subject of the passive sentence. And the V1, that means the first form or the first part or the first phase of the verb, that is write, is being taken or transformed into the third form, that is written. Write, wrote, written. So this first, second and third, that means the first present, second past, and the third past participle. So third form also means the past participle form, that is being written over here. A poem is written by me. So accordingly, the auxiliary verb is being used because according to the subject, third person singular number, a poem, and is goes accordingly. So we have written over here, a poem is written by me. Few very common rules are over here which we need to follow. Bring the object first. That means the object of the active one. Choose correct be verb, that means the auxiliary verbs you can say about it. Change verb into participle, that means the past participle format over there. Add by before the subject. Now in some cases, in respective of using by, we can also use to, like known to me, like this. So that is completely a different set, because we know according to the prepositional phrases we need to use those things in a proper place. So object plus be verb plus the third form of the verb plus by plus subject. So here it is the transformation from active to the passive one. She helps me, he is helped by her. Here, by using these common rules, we have changed the active sentence, she helps him, to he is helped by her. So what have we noticed? Only transitive verbs can be changed into passive voice. A transitive verb has an object which becomes the subject of the passive voice. The subject of the active voice is made the object of some preposition, generally by. Generally, because we have already discussed that in each and every cases we can't use by. The passive contains the past participle, that is the third form of the main verb. Some form of the verb to be, am, is, are, was, were, being or been, is used according to tense as well as person. The tense of the verb does not change. We are not going to change the tense. Whatever tense remains in the active sentence, the same tense we are going to keep it over there unchanged in the passive one. We are not going to change it. Only what are we going to change? The to be verb and the form of the present verb, that is we are going to change the form into the past participle, nothing else. If it is in present continuous tense, passive sentence will be in present continuous tense. If it is in past perfect tense, then the passive one will be in the past perfect tense only. So here is a table of verb forms, active voice, passive voice. Here the voices V1, V2, these are mentioned, and the forms of the be verbs that are also mentioned over clearly, that what are we going to use. So for example, just let me explain it. Active voice, first form of verb V1, or do or does. If it is do or does, what are we going to change the format into? Is, am, are. Am, is, are. And the third form of the main verb, that is suppose Ram is doing something, so it means that I'm going to use it in such a way, I am not going to change it. I don't have a transitive passive, I can't make it a passive one, because this is not a transitive verb. So I will have to have a transitive verb over here, otherwise it is completely impossible to change the voice. So what is a transitive verb or intransitive verb? We are going to have a quick recapitulation of this as well in the next one. So likewise, in the second form, or the verb to, like did or plus V1, we are going to use was, were. Like Ram killed Ravana, over there it was a past form, that is the second V2, second format. So we are going to do the same thing, the third form of the verb we are going to use. So it means in whatever shape or whatever form of tense you were having the active one, it completely doesn't matter. Only according to the subject you are going to change the be verb. The be verbs are given in the second row over there, you can see, according to do, does or ing formats, which are the proper auxiliaries to be used, and what are we going to keep intact? That is the third form or the past participle form of the main verb. So here is a quick recapitulation of transitive and intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs need an object. I bought a car. What have I bought? I have bought a car. Intransitive verbs are those which cannot have or doesn't have an object. The baby smiled. At whom or at what, it has not been mentioned. So you buy something, maybe an object you are buying, you can make the passive of it. Something is bought by you easily, but you cannot make the voice change of this one. Like the example is given over here, we waited but nobody came. So both waited and came, these are the intransitive formats. After this, we don't know what are we waiting for, or who is supposed to come, like that. So we are not going to make the passive one because it is not possible. So the verbs that are transitive and intransitive, over here we can clearly get that transitive verbs have an object after it, and intransitive verbs doesn't have an object, because we need an object. Until unless having an object, we cannot transform it to the passive one, because we know the object of the active sentence is going to be the passive one in the subject one in the passive sentence. Here are the second table where we can get that the passive voices, if we are having it in simple or the indefinite tense, continuous tense and perfect tense. So if it is in present indefinite tense, am is are plus verb 3, that means the excuse me, verb 3, that means the participle format. So is loved, am loved, are loved, because he is loved, I am loved, we are loved, they are loved. So according to the persons, according to the person and numbers, these are going to be changed accordingly. For continuous tense, it is going to be he is being loved, I am being loved, they are being loved. Likewise, in perfect tense, it has been loved, they have been loved. In this way, we are going to follow up accordingly in past, present and future tenses simultaneously in consecutively in simple, continuous and perfect tenses. The case of pronoun also changes from nominative to accusative, as I said you people earlier, that why from I it is being changed to me. The cases, because of this we are going to change it, because whenever I am being the doer of something, obviously the activity is being done by me. I am not the doer, I am not the main focus of this one, so obviously I am the doer. So my role is going to be changed, and obviously the case is going to be changed according to that. So in nominative cases, that means the noun cases, as subject in active voice, I is being transformed into me as the object in passive voice, which was the subject in active voice, that is going to be the object. So it is obviously going to be the accusative case. So I is being transformed to me, we to us, he to him, she to her, they to them, you remains you, it remains it. So no changes are there for you and it. You are safe enough to play with them. But if you have I, you will have to change it to me. If you have we in the nominative case, you will have to use it as us, he as him, she as her, they as them. Now what are these cases? I have the solution for that one also. You have a quick recapitulation of that one. Have a quick look. What is the nominative case? When a noun or a pronoun functions as the subject of a verb, it is said to be in the nominative case. The nominative case is also known as the subjective case. In the following sentences, nouns and pronouns in the nominative case are underlined. Though I forgot to mention over here, but I'm going to I didn't underline it over here, but I'm going to mention it. She became the president in 1991. Now she became, she, nominative. She is the focus over here. She became. She was not being elected by someone, or it is not important that she has been chosen or she is being elected. She became, her designation. This is important. So she, this is the nominative case over here. And Jim and Huck traveled by boat. Jim and Huck, they are the doers over here. The little girl is crying. Same as the previous two. The subject case can also be used for a subject complement. A subject complement is a word that follows a linking verb and describes or renames the subject or the sentence. For example, he is the son of the president. He is the same person who is the son of the president. So a linking verb that is describing the subject or saying something more about the subject as a complement, like you are a gorgeous beautiful lady whom I am meeting right now. So this gorgeous beautiful lady, you, these compliments are for you. So take it as a compliment or take it as something more information or additional information about the subject. So these are called as the complementary subjective case as well. You can use it by this name as well. What is the accusative case? Accusative case is the form of the noun in the grammatical case used to mark the direct object of a transitive verb. In the case of English language, we generally know me, him, her, us, them. These are called as accusative cases. We cooked our dinner. That means we cooked our dinner. Here, verb the cooked is directly the object, is the direct object of dinner. So the dinner, that is the direct object of the verb cooked. So here we are going to say that the accusative cases are the nouns that are the direct objects of the transitive verb. So we cooked what? So if we are going to ask any question with what, or which, so whatever answers we are getting it to from the transitive verb, that is going to be the accusative case. If you can't just discriminate the accusative and nominative thing, then you ask the question to the verb who. The answer, if you're getting any answer, that who answer is going to be the nominative case. And if you're going to ask the question what, and whatever answers are you getting from the verb, that is going to be your accusative case. So this is a small tip. Here, he is crying, she is a teacher, John is walking, my grandfather is a doctor. These are the examples of the nominative cases. And he brought a new car, give me a hug, they wrote letters, they're going to school. These are the examples of accusative cases. And here is your practice set. Let me help you in one. Shreya Ghoshal sings beautiful songs. So what is the object and subject over here? Subject is Shreya Ghoshal. Sings is the verb one. That means the main verb. And in the present format, beautiful songs, that is the object over here. So change the object into the subject. Beautiful songs. So this is a third person plural number. So beautiful songs are. Sing, third form of sing, sung. Beautiful songs are sung by whom? By Shreya Ghoshal. In this way, practice these other sets and hope it will help you. Hope you have enjoyed the video and it will help you as well as like that. Thank you.